and welcome. Welcome to Chalice Unitarian Universalist Congregation. We are a community of diverse beliefs and experiences, nurturing the liberal religious spirit and united by our desire to grow in love and in service. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever your life's journey, you are welcome here. Whether you gather with us every Sunday, only occasionally, or here for the very first time, we are so happy that you are here with us. I'm Jessica Schultz, and I'll be the worship associate today. Our service is led today by the Reverend Arvid Straube, our affiliate minister. Our worship musician this morning is John Schultz. Our worship assistant is David Peel. Our song leader is Debbie Street Adele, and our song and sound voice video engineer is Jake Diock. Our greeters today are Amber Vlasnik and Shannon Anderson. Our minister, Sharon Wiley, will return to the pulpit in 2 weeks on June 14th. And next Sunday will be our Music Sunday, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. Welcome to our Sunday worship service. Welcome to those of you here in person, and welcome to those of you joining us online. For those of us here in the chapel, if you are sitting in a row with empty seats, and I don't see any, so let's just move on to the next item. As a reminder, please feel free to wear a mask or step outside as needed for your comfort. Our courtyard is a lovely place to enjoy the service, as is the green room. We are always delighted when newcomers join us. As a newcomer, you might be interested in the many groups and activities we offer, and you can find out about them in our email newsletter and e-news calendar. Note that online newcomers will receive an email invitation to join our email list after the service. And for you in-person newcomers, if you haven't already given us your email address today when you signed in, please share it before you leave. Truly, our weekly email is the best way to get information about all of the activities, and we don't want you to miss out. And now, let's take a breath together. As we settle our souls into worship, we acknowledge Indigenous peoples with a poem by Joy Harjo, poet and author, and the first Native American U.S. Poet Laureate. She is a citizen of the Muskogee Nation. This poem, titled The War Zone, is from her book of poems and prose called A Map to the Next World. Yesterday, in the flare of smoke and temper, we were brilliant warriors, weary from battling each other. The illuminations of family ghost bright, red in the storm. The century is swept toward an inevitable end. As summer trees sway beneath thunderclouds, the wind flattening our faces, our teeth make refuge for our tongues, skin pulled tight in the vertigo of fear. Under unbearable pressure, we go on. And now we light our chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. I'd like to invite Alec Bergamini to light our chalice this morning. Our chalice lighting words come from Deborah Burrell. Fire consumes and casts a bright light. May our chalice flame consume our regrets for the past. Okay. We should have practiced that more. Okay, fire consumes and casts a bright light. May our chalice flame consume our regrets for the past, our fears about the future, and our worries about today. May it light for us a path of joy and peace.
Long time no see, everybody.
This song, so you know Judy used to be in a girl band in the 90s, and they were all really good songwriters. This is an anti-war song with some hope to it. Times are hard today, and it's hard to say if time will offer a reprieve. So join hands tonight, prepare a quiet fight. We choose to laugh instead of grieve. Embrace the time we spend. Allow yourself to give to those in time of need. Plant the seed. Keep your eyes on love. Where there's hatred, try to rise above. But remain ever strong in the face of those who push for wrong. Our voices must be heard. Keep clear, affirm your word. In growing strength we lead. Plant the seed. My pain is yours. We have no right to close the doors. In a world made of glass, with these we'll shatter and we'll pass. So join your neighbor now. By standing here we vow the war tide must recede. Plant the seed. Keep your eyes. Times are hard today, and it's hard to say if time will offer us above. So join hands tonight, prepare a quiet fight. We choose to laugh instead of grieve. Embrace the life we live. Allow yourself to give to those in time of need. Plant the seed. Plant the seed. Plant the seed.
Let us be a faith that gathers, reaching for one another through the walls of hate that others build, through the cages of ignorance and arrogance, and through the fear that burdens city streets. Let us be a faith that sees a vision of a better world, more compassionate, more just, more holy, and with more love. There is a faith that binds up the broken, cauterizes battle wounds with the balm of peace, sings longer and louder than the trumpets of war. Let us be that faith too. Let us be the ones who do not tread lightly in this world, but light it up with our love, who hold up the mirror of worth and dignity, who are the sanctuary others seek. But first, let us be a faith that worships together here, this morning, in this space, at this moment. These are the words by Heidi Cottam.
Our hymn of the month for the month of May is Love Knocks and Waits for Us to Hear. It's number 1029 in the Teal hymnal, and the lyrics will be projected. Please rise in body or spirit and join in singing. Love knocks and waits for us to hear, to open and invite. Love wants to quiet every fear and seeks to set things right. Love offers life in spite of foes who threaten and condemn. Embracing enemies, love goes the second mile with them. Love comes to heal the broken heart, to ease the troubled mind. Without a word, love finds a start to ask and seek and find. Love knocks and enters at the sound of welcome from within. Love sings and dances all around and feels new life begin. Please be seated.
Our Sunday worship is the shared spiritual practice of our community, and we tend to the congregation during this time by sharing and honoring our joys and sorrows. Here in the chapel, you are welcome to write your joy or sorrow onto a candle card, which will be collected from you. They look like this. Online, please write your joy or sorrow, including your name, into the chat box. These joys and sorrows will be spoken out loud, and then we will remove this part from the service, of the service from the recording that goes onto our YouTube channel. So this sharing won't be publicly available online. If you would like to send Reverend Sharon a confidential note about your joy or sorrow, or to make a prayer request, please email her. Her email address will be on the screen in just a moment. Please enjoy some music while you write down what you would like to share, so that in sharing, your burden is lessened and your joy is multiplied. light our first candle of sorrow for all that is broken and hurting in our world. We light a final pillar candle for all the joys and sorrows that go unshared and unspoken this morning. These too are held in the love and support of this community. And now we invite the children and anyone else who would like to come forward for a story. We welcome children in our community. During our Sunday service, our religious education volunteers provide programs for children and youth from kindergarten through high school. Today, the upper elementary kids are going to be challenged to build the strongest bridge. Love made visible through words is today's theme for the youth group. For our youngest kiddos, it's another session of JetPeg. They will put together a jigsaw puzzle so that Amelia Pighart can find her way home. Please talk with our Director of Family Ministries, Kathleen Swift, to learn more about our programs. Childcare for our youngest children is always available during service. And now, a story.
Peace is an Offering is written by Annette LeBox and illustrated by Stephanie Grajan. Peace is an offering, a muffin or a peach, a birthday invitation, a trip to the beach. Peace is gratitude for simple things, light through a leaf, a dragonfly's wings, a kiss on the cheek, raindrops and dew, a walk in the park, a bowl of hot stew. Peace is holding on to another. Peace is the words you say to a brother. Will you stay with me? Will you be my friend? Will you listen to my story till the very end? Will you wait when I'm slow? Will you calm my fears? Will you sing to the sun to dry my tears? Will you keep me company when I'm all alone? Will you give me shelter when I've lost my home? You might find peace in a photograph or in the deep boom of a belly laugh. And even in the wake of tragedy, even then, you might find her in the rubble of a fallen tower, in the sorrow of your darkest hour, in the hat of a hero, in the loss of a friend. Peace is a joining, not a pulling apart. It's the courage to bear a wounded heart. It's a safe place to live. It's the freedom from fear. It's a kiss or a hug when you've lost someone dear. So offer a cookie. Walk away from a fight. Comfort a friend through the long, dark night. Sing a quiet song. Catch a falling star. May peace walk beside you wherever you are. Peace.
This reading is called The Young Dead Soldiers Do Not Speak, and it's by Archibald McLeish. The young dead soldiers do not speak, nevertheless, they are heard in the still houses. Who has not heard them? They have a silence that speaks for them at night and when the clock counts. They say, we were young, we have died, remember us. They say, we have done what we could, but until it is finished, it is not done. They say, we have given our hearts, our lives, but until it is finished, no one can know what our lives gave. They say, our death are not ours, they are yours, and they will mean what you make them. They say, whether our lives and our deaths were for peace and a new hope, or for nothing, we cannot say. It is you who must say this. We leave you our deaths. Give them your meaning. We were young, they say. We have died. Remember us.
Archibald MacLeish wrote the poem from our reading in 1940 at the beginning of World War II. He had served in the artillery in World War I and lost his brother Kenneth to that conflict. In the poem, the war dead seem to say, they say our deaths are not ours, they are yours. They will mean what you make them. They say, whether our lives and our deaths were for peace and a new hope or for nothing, we cannot say. It is you who must say this. So I'd like us to take that seriously this morning. It's up to us. As we look back on the history of conflicts that we have lived through in our lifetimes and before, now as a nation, as we embark on yet another war, it's up to us to ask the question, what do the lives and the deaths of our fallen mean? It's something we need to ponder as we go forward. So can there be peace on earth? Can we end violence? Probably not. Can't we just get along? No, we can't just get along. There will always be conflict because we're human. Can there be an end to war? Actually, I think there could be. There must be. So I might say some things that you find controversial, that you don't agree with. I might say some things this morning that will challenge some long-held or popular assumptions, and I don't need you to agree with me. I only hope that I'll get you to think about these things. How do we stop war? I think it's important that we really understand human nature. We stop war by understanding that we human beings, as a result of our evolutionary heritage, as a result of the things that allowed our ancestors to survive, that we've had protective and territorial instincts. We've had violent instincts, and that they're more powerful and closer to the surface than we care to think about. So I think we need to study human nature. We need to understand who we are. We need to study the psychological, physiological, sociobiological, and cultural causes of violence. So some of it is inherited, but not all. Our culture and our upbringing has a lot to say about how these instincts for conflict are expressed. And what studies that have been done, and there have not been enough, point to the possibility that human culture and civilization can minimize, sublimate, and channel our natural aggressions into more positive expressions. Here's an interesting fact I'd like you to ponder. It was in an issue on violence by Scientific American some years back, and it was really interesting if you can find it. Norwegian men, as men in most cultures, are much more violent than Norwegian women. Men tend to be more violent than women. But Norwegian men are much less violent than American women. So think about that. It's not just our biology that leads to the way we're violent or the way we express our aggressive instincts, the way we engage in our conflicts. Nature and culture play a major role, and as do the choices we make as individuals and as communities and as a society. Some years ago, a controversial book was published by the Harvard evolutionary psychologist Steven Pinker. It was called The Better Angels of Our Nature: Why Violence Has Declined. And his thesis was that human beings today are much less violent than we've ever been in our history. And nobody wanted to believe him. Wasn't the 20th century the most violent of all in human history? 75 million people were killed in World War II. About. But he says it doesn't take into account the second half of the 20th century and all the centuries that came before. Says, since then, he said, there have been more international boundaries around conflicts and around wars, and their wars have been mostly small-scale insurrections, and that the rule of law has been more established in more societies. In an article in the Wall Street Journal, he wrote, as one becomes aware of the historical decline of violence, the world begins to look different. The past seems less innocent, the present less sinister. One starts to appreciate the small gifts of coexistence that would have seemed utopian to our ancestors. The interracial family playing in the park, the comedian who lands a zinger on the commander-in-chief, the countries that quietly back away from a crisis instead of escalating to war. And then Pinker had to rethink all that after Russia invaded the Ukraine. That seemed like a throwback to the old kind of aggression, a naked grab for territory and domination. But he still holds to his thesis. The conversation continues. But violence can decrease by the choices made by societies and civilizations. If we're going to end war, we need to know why we go to war. Chris Hedges went to Harvard Divinity School and got a Master of Divinity and did not become a minister. He became a war correspondent for the New York Times. And he covered war after war after war. And he just couldn't stay away from these assignments, even though he knew they were horrible for him. They were eroding his soul, his conscience. But he admits that he became addicted to the adrenaline and the consequence of war. And in the end, he came to despise war. Because war causes not only the loss of life and property, but it profoundly corrupts the societies and citizens that are involved in the war, not just the combatants. In his book, which is called War is a Force That Gives Us Meaning, Hedges writes that the first casualty of any war is the truth. Everything needs to be simplified. The enemy needs to be made unhuman, not worthy of life. Truth is the first consequence of war. He points this out, and I think he's right. Survival is not, as our human beings, it's not our most important goal. He says that our most important goal is self-transcendence, is to live for something bigger than ourselves. And that can be a very positive, that is a very positive part of human nature. That's what we try to do here as a community, to call us to lives of love and service, as we say every Sunday. It allows people to give their lives, go back to the civil rights movement of the 60s. It allows people to dedicate themselves at great personal sacrifice for justice and for peace, to face armed thugs on the streets of Minneapolis. But it also allows people to be part of war as a sense of self-transcendence. And for that goal of self-transcendence, people are willing to kill and die for a cause that they deem righteous. And let's keep in mind also that it takes a lot of training and indoctrination to get people to be willing to kill. You don't just give them a gun and say, go kill. It's said that most soldiers in World War II deliberately missed the enemy because they didn't want the death in their conscience. The thing that struck Hedges the most with this was that when you ask people why they were brave, why they fought so hard, it was for their comrades, their friends, the other people in their units. It wasn't about the lofty goals that their leaders said in the end. It was friendship and love. So I can understand why MAGA people might have different opinions about policy than me. I can strongly disagree about those policies, but I understand why they would, because of their indoctrination, because of their strong belief, because maybe they're even right a little bit, that they would push for those policies. And it's up to me then to make sure those policies, and those people who don't agree with them, to make sure they're not implemented if we can. What I don't get, or didn't get, is why implement those policies with deliberate cruelty? Why implement those policies with deliberate cruelty? Well, it goes back to an old problem with humanity, is we dehumanize others. And in order to harm other people, we need to first convince ourselves that they are not fully human, that they are not good humans, that we need to see them as less than human to hurt them. As the Dalai Lama said, all of us want to be happy. All of us do not want suffering. We have that in common with every person on this earth. Every being, actually. And some people are looking for happiness in some very bad places. Here's a common view of war that Hedges challenges directly, which is that wars are often caused by religious and ethnic differences. He says they're just an excuse for sociopathic thugs to get people to hate each other, for greedy and hate-filled reasons. That those are not the ultimate reason for war. Here's what he says. Ethnic conflicts and insurgencies of our time between Serbs and Muslims and Hutus and Tutsis, he covered those wars, are not religious wars. They are not clashes between cultures or civilizations, nor are they result of ancient ethnic hatreds. They are manufactured wars, born out of the collapse of civil societies, perpetuated by fear, greed, and paranoia, and they are run by gangsters who rise from the bottom of their own societies and terrorize all, including the people they purport to protect. I think that we must move in the direction of ending war. I'm not talking about ending struggle. There are righteous struggles. Many of us are engaged in righteous struggles now. We can't end conflict as long as there's injustice and evil in the world. We need to fight those things, and they won't end without conflict. But it's more important than ever that those fighting for justice do so non-violently, because violence simply perpetuates violence. As Gandhi said, an eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind. You won't see this very often in popular media, but nonviolent struggle is increasingly effective as the tactics of those nonviolent struggle are getting more and more sophisticated. They're getting more and more effective. In the last century or so, a survey of the history of the world shows that it has worked better. Nonviolent actions and strategies have worked better at creating lasting change than violent resistance. The end of apartheid in South Africa, the fall of the Berlin Wall. Those were nonviolent struggles, to name just a few. Gene Sharp was an octogenarian academic, and he was a student of nonviolent change, and he lists 198 methods of nonviolent action. And some of us in the current movements might want to look at some of these tactics, and some of our leaders have. The hardest work of all is loving our enemies. It doesn't mean you have to like them. It does mean to never cease recognizing their humanity, to never forget that they want to be happy as we do. They don't want to suffer as we don't want to suffer. And this is hard, maybe hold out the possibility that they can change. Maybe hold out the possibility that by seeing them as whole persons, we can change. In his book, Jesus and Nonviolence, the late New Testament scholar Walter Rink writes that the most important work in rooting out the evil, most important work is rooting out the evil, he says that word, in our own souls. I'm quoting him. Every outer evil inevitably attracts from our own depths parts of ourselves that resemble it. To engage evil is therefore a spiritual act, because it will require of us the rare courage to face our own most ancient and intractable evils within, and means abandoning one of the greatest and oldest of lies, that the world is made up of good people and bad people. It's hard to give up our self-righteousness because we enjoy it. Let's admit it. We can't all just get along, but we can struggle with love. This instinct also is part of our instinct to find connection, surprise, and creativity. I end with these words by Chris Hedges. To survive as a human being is possible only through love. And when the death instinct is ascendant, the instinct must be to reach out to those who love, to see them in all the divinity, pity, and pathos of the human. and to recognize love in the lives of others, even in those with whom we are in conflict, love that is like our own. It does not mean we will avoid war and death. It does not mean that we, as distinct individuals, will survive. But love, in its mystery, has its own power. It alone gives us meaning that endures. It alone allows us to embrace and cherish life. Love has power both to resist in our nature what we know we must resist, and affirm what we know we must affirm. Love, as the poet reminds us, is eternal. I'll leave you these words. Amen.
Please rise and body your spirit. Join us in singing number 162, I'm going to lay down my sword and shield, and you all know this song. So we're really going to sing this song, okay? You need to hear it. I'll lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. Gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside. Gonna study war no more. I ain't 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 war no more. Lay down my burden down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. Gonna lay down my burden down by the riverside. Gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Study war no more. Gonna shake hands around the world, everywhere I go, everywhere I go, everywhere I go. Gonna shake hands around the world, everywhere I go. Gonna shake war no more. I ain't gonna study 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 war no more. Thank you.
The Sunday offering is an expression of the generosity that makes our congregational life possible. Generosity is the most natural outward expression of an inner attitude of compassion and loving kindness, says the Dalai Lama. We encourage you to text your donation to the chalice. If you haven't texted a donation before, once you text the amount, you will get a reply with a link for you to enter your card information. If your Sunday donation is meant to be part of your pledge payment, please be sure to write pledge after the amount. The offering information is projected. If you prefer to make an in-person donation of cash or checks, there are envelopes and a donation box right over there next to John and the chapel double doors. You can leave those donations after the service. Please join in affirming the spirit of generosity that guides our communal life. Congregation, our mission is to act to promote UU principles in ourselves and in the wider world.
I'm sure many of you know this song, and you're welcome to join with me and sing. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the flowers gone? Young girls have picked them, every one. Oh, when will they ever learn? Oh, when will they ever learn? Where have all the young girls gone? Long time passing. Where have all the young girls gone? Long time ago. Where have all the young girls gone? Gone to young men, every one. Oh, when will they ever learn? Oh, when will they ever learn? Where have all the young men gone? Long time passing. Where have all the young men gone? Long time ago. Where have all the young men gone? Gone for soldiers, every one. Oh, when will they ever learn? Oh, when will they ever learn? Where have all the soldiers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the soldiers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the soldiers gone? Gone to graveyards, every one. Oh, when will they ever learn? Oh, when will they ever learn? Where have all the graveyards gone? Long time passing. Where have all the graveyards gone? Long time ago. Where have all the graveyards gone? Gone to flowers, every one. Oh, when will they ever learn? Oh, when will they ever learn? Where have all the flowers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the flowers gone? Young girls have picked them, every one. Oh, when will they ever learn? Oh, when will they ever learn?
I invite you now to get in touch with your breath, the feeling of your body being supported by the chair. Notice your whole being, not just your thoughts. Notice the feelings. Notice the sensations within your body. If you can pray with me these words by Laura Cowton. Spirit of compassion, source of life, God of many names, we gather in gratitude for our many blessings, for being in community for the tender mercies of our lives. We also ache with grief, concern, and anger about the terrible violence in the world and the human capacity to inflict harm on one another. We seek solace in our seeming powerlessness. We hold in our embrace those hiding in shelters and mourning the deaths of loved ones, the tattered fabric of their lives. We pray for those with power to create peace, that they may recognize the fragile and valuable humanity of those across from them and see how we are all one. Holy Spirit of mercy, may all who seek comfort and safety find themselves in a place with no fear or hatred, and may all who suffer in pain or in anger be held in gentle loving care to ease and heal their wounds. As we seek to build the beloved community, may we ever be guided by our faith in the ability of love to conquer injustice and our ability to love beyond belief. May it be so. Amen.
Please rise and body your spirit and join together in singing hymn number 159. This is my song. John will play it through once before we begin. Please be seated.
Our closing word today come from Rolf Gerhardt. We extinguish this flame, a mere wisp of matter in process, almost as insubstantial as the thought of it. Yet our civilization has harnessed the power of such a flame to drive and shape a new world. So may it be with the power of our thoughts, that in truth and love they may drive and shape a new world. Love and blessings to each of you. You are invited to close our time together by singing the well. After the well, please return to your seats for a couple of quick announcements.
Hi everyone, Ann McKernan here. Recently, the Escondido Walking Club has created a mutual aid society. This is a group of neighbors helping neighbors. They'll be supplying food and hygiene, supplies, and more to neighborhood people in need. What they need from us is a place to stage and pack these deliveries every other Friday, and they've asked us to use one of our rooms in the hub. This is a great way for us to help right here in our Escondido neighborhood. Nancy Hacker and I have agreed to coordinate this charitable activity, but we need a few more helpers. All you have to commit to is going once a month to Chalice, either at noon or at 7 p.m. on a Friday. This is to let them in and then also to make sure that everything's closed up. So this will only be happening twice a month, and if we have enough people, you only have to do it once a month, or maybe even once every 2 months. So we just need some more people to help us. Please let me know, or Reverend Sharon, or Nancy Hacker, if you can help out. We'd really appreciate it, and have a great day.
Hi, this announcement is quick. As president of the Board of Trustees, I'm going to give the members of Chalice just another quick reminder that on June 14th at 12 noon is our annual congregational meeting, and we'll need a quorum. So I really request your attendance either in person here in the chapel or on Zoom so we can vote in our officers and our new budget. And the meeting should be fairly short, I hope. And anyway, I wanted to give you that quick reminder. So June 14th at noon, and we'll have a light lunch for the attendees. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
It was really 3 announcements. Yep. Chalice's annual music service is a time when the congregation celebrates the power of music and honors the many talented singers and instrumentalists in our rich congregational life. This year's music service, We Are All Music, spelled M-U-U-S-I-C, makers will take place on Sunday, June 7th. That is next week. There will be 2 services, one at 9 a.m. and another at 11 a.m. The additional service is only for June 7th. Now, a show of hands. How many people are going to meet me here at 10 o'clock next Sunday? Oh, I'm so relieved. You're good listeners. So that's 9 and 11 or 11 or next Sunday. This year's music service will celebrate you composers, songwriters, poets, and lyricists who have created the soundtrack of our movement for the last 100 years. This service will feature the Chancel Choir, the Hand Chime Ensemble, Grunion Run, Unity Groove, and the world premiere of a brand new song by John Schultz and David Peel. In addition to some very special surprises that I can't even tell you about because they're top secret. So see you next week.
Well, that was the announcement I was going to make, so I'm so relieved I don't have to make it. I do want to let you know that online it will be offered at both services, and religious education classes will take place at the first service. So just so you know. Our social hour will begin in a few minutes online at the same Zoom link and in person in the courtyard with that great Chalice coffee. Those of you who are here in person might want to take your coffee into the green room and visit with some of our online congregants. Reverend Straube and I will look forward to greeting you at the chapel doors to see how the service was meaningful for you. Go in peace.